I think everyone gets one veto, and eventually, you know, you're gonna have to play that map you don't like. So, because we haven't played any of the maps that are listed except Shatter Temple. Maybe there's repeats, I'm not sure.
Oh. You guys ready for the weekend?
Yeah, my weekend actually starts today, so...
Lucky.
Yep. I got, what, my birthday's tomorrow too, which is pretty nice. Everything's kind of falling in together, all at the same time.
How many years young?
19. I turn 19 tomorrow, actually, so...
Very
that
nice.
happens. Yep.
Happy birthday in advance.
I suppose. Actually, it's you can wish him happy birthday in about 59 minutes, and you'll be good to go.
Yep. So...
That's true.
Get stuff for my birthday and play StarCraft. I think that's my plan tomorrow. Just stay home
Nice.
and stay home and not do anything because I don't really want to do anything. But
It's very true.
So we're waiting on Forbes, I guess, or actually the Zerg player from LagTT. It's going to be PVZ to pick a map. I believe Forbes did veto Zonlaga Fortress. Kind of an odd choice, but actually it's going to be Zonlaga Caverns, I'm told.
I'm not sure on the percentages for PVZ or who has the advantage there.
It's kind of a weird map. I mean, Zonlaga Caverns in general is not as favored as it used to be when it first came out by the community, I think. When it first came out, people were like, wow, this thing's so balanced, it's so nice, it's actually a decent map. But I mean, you gotta consider, like, Steps of War and Kulas Ravine and stuff were still on the map, I think.
Oh,
And same with the Lost Temple, too, so, yeah.
Steps of War, it was very hard for someone to beat a good Terran on that map.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to, like, take it with a grain of salt. But overall for the matchup, I think, I mean, considering it's such a small map, a lot of counterattacks have to be used for Zerg to kind of make the map a little bit longer, so that the relatively short rush distance isn't too bad. And for Protoss, it might be a little bit difficult to take a third base, considering the lower natural is a little ways away. Fairly easily harassable. I mean, you can go in and out, and the gold base is kind of exposed as well. You kind of have to expand towards the Zerg, which isn't necessarily desirable if you're kind of going for like a gateway expand or kind of without too much tech. So it might take a little bit longer to expand than on other maps, like say Tal'Darim.
Alright. Looks like we got... I'm not good at pronouncing their names, I'm sorry. Is it gonna be Fears?
Oh, Fears. Yeah, Fears.
I thought it was Fears.
could be Fires.
Never
No,
know.
I'm just joking. But yeah.
Alright, so we have Fears. He is Zerg for LagTT, and we have Forbes on Protoss for Binary. And you can see Forbes is in bottom left, and Fears is in the top right.
Alright. Fears and I have actually been, I've known him for a while. Like, he was in my Diamond division when it was still the highest league. Preserver Dixie. So I go pretty, way back with him, but he's a decent Zerg. Pretty good. I think he's been on a break for a while, so I don't know how good he's going to be now. But, it'll be quite interesting to see what happens on this map.
We can see Forbes going for a standard 9 pylon and scouting. Fears just looking like he's going to go for regular... Does Zerg usually start 11 pool or 12 pool?
In this matchup, you could pretty much do anything you want. I mean, I say that with a grain of salt. Like, if it's a Forge first expansion, like 6 pull isn't, like, completely cheese. Like, you can actually be fine with it. On this map, like, gas pull, like, speedling expand is pretty common. Considering the natural's so open, it's not easy to expand on it.
Though we didn't see Fears do the extractor trick. Is there much beneficial to that, to get that extra zone out before your first Overlord?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, extractor trick is always going to be better than just 10 Overlord, or 9 Overlord. 9 Overlord or extractor trick are pretty much even for the most part, so you're either going to do one or the other. If you don't, I don't think there's really a good reason, but, you know, it's not that big of a deal, I think.
And we do see the spawning pool go down. I believe that was on 12 or 13. And we have the gateway from Forbes.
Yeah, pretty standard opening from both players. Fear's just now taking the gas, so not quite as economical as like just gas, or sorry, pool hatch, but I guess he's gone for a little bit of a later speed. He's obviously not going to get speed right after the pool finishes, so kind of, I guess, figuring things out.
I'm casting our StarCraft 2 clan matches. Yeah. Not that long. Alright. Yeah. Alright. Alright, see. I'm sorry, I've been trying to call dice for a while. I do have to resend it. It sounds annoying. I'm sorry if you're viewing that and all you hear is this random Skype noise. I have to get that removed so it's not boop boop. Alright. So what do we miss here? We see
Fierce was able to get his hatchery down before he got any lings out, which not that big of a deal, but it's actually quite huge in that like he was able to get it before lings were out. Usually a probe's going to be there to block it, and that's why you get that pool pretty early on. So kind of a small victory for him there. Forbes looks like he's going to be going. Okay, never mind. I was going to say 3-gate expand, but that's 5 gateways in his base, and even if you're Kiwakaki, you're going to expand with like 4 gates, and that's just funky as it is. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a 1-base all-in.
how do you feel that's going to be pretty confident with Forbes with that? Now, what's the advantage of killing the supply depot there? Like, why do they bring the supply depot into the LG matches?
The supply depot is basically there so that, especially in the ZVT matchup, and maybe a little bit of PVZ, those Protoss and Terran can't block the Zerg off from the bottom of the ramp.
Okay, so like if you're T and you're pulling 11, 12 gate, you can't just block them in with 3 bunkers and pull back and basically start the matchup there. And we do see Fear's massing Zerglings here. He's going to get caught. Is he going to be able to wall off his run by or lose that Nexus?
He's definitely not going to be able to defend the Nexus, but he's almost kind of like selling it, as in like, oh man, I wanted to expand, but you took it. Dang it!
And like, inside he has a 5-gate just sitting to
Yep. So he's basically wanting Fierce to think that like he was trying to expand, but Fierce just screwed up his plans, and he's just like moping inside. And a pretty good force field's going down. Not too many overlaps. He will lose a couple sentries though, which not ideal.
So he does warp in a few zealots, and right now we can see he has 9 Zerglings for 5 sentries, 1 stalker, and 3 zealots. Though he is gonna, are these lings gonna run right by his base here and see how? No, he doesn't go for it.
Forbes does have the ramp blocked off, so if Fierce tries to counterattack, it won't be too effective. But at this point, Fierce knows like it's got to be some sort of 1-base all-in. The Protoss should have expanded by now if he wanted to.
We see Fierce trying to take a third, but we see Forbes coming from the top left side through that bush. He does have pylons behind, ready to put this all-in 1-base push in. And here we can see him attacking his natural.
Yeah, that's one of the characteristics of Zelnaga Caverns. Like, the natural's so wide open that this kind of thing, like, it's really hard to cover everything with your spine crawlers.
We see 1 force field going out, trying to keep those lings away. And he's trying to take care of all the spore crawlers.
Yep, but it doesn't look like it's going to be in time. There's just too many units by Forbes.
But Fierce is bringing in, he has 8 roaches in right now. He's just keeps bringing in roaches, though. How are those going to fare against these beautiful force fields Forbes has coming out?
he's gonna have one of those roaches like 2 minutes ago, and
Dude.
with like 6 more roaches with him.
And we see Fears actually upgrade his natural to Lair Tech, and Forbes should be able to deny that Lair Tech.
Yeah, at this point it's kind of inconsequential. There's just no way that Fierce can come back from this point. He just unfortunately died to a 5-gate timing push.
Alright.
And there's the GG.
Now, do you feel when Fears kind of knew that All-In was coming, and he expanded to the third, do you feel that that was a pretty big risk move there?
I'm actually not quite sure why he took the third there. He might have been gearing up for kind of a counter-attack based play. Because that base is so far out to the side that if Forbes wanted to attack that, then he would definitely have to like commit his forces in a completely, out of the out in the boondocks basically, which opens him up to a lot of counterattacks or cutting off the force that's attacking it, and all sorts of stuff like that. So that's kind of like planning ahead thing. But unfortunately for that game, like Forbes wasn't planning ahead at all. He's just like I'm gonna end it in the the 8-minute mark. And that expansion's like useful if you get to like the 12-minute mark. So it kind of sucks for Fears that it was irrelevant.
Though I think Fears started going for that third expansion when Forbes did kind of bait that expansion. Oh man, I couldn't get that, but I got 5-gate in my base, and I'm coming around your top left side. I got pylons ready to warp in, and I think Fears he got a little confused that match.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, not every Protoss obviously does that. So like a lot of times you're expecting a 3 warp gate expand, or basically an expansion, something like that. And you might get a little bit greedy, maybe not do your scouting due diligence to make sure that he's actually expanding, and you'll take that expansion a little bit earlier, or you'll still scout but not quite be ready for that kind of play. So it's really tricky. If you're not prepared for it like Fears was, then it'll definitely catch you off guard no matter how good you are.
Alright, who do we now? Forbes has won 2 in a row, so it's 3-1 binary right now. So
correct.
We have to pull someone from binary at a new player. Who's going to be our next up from binary?
We will see. LagTT is definitely going to have to get another person in again. So actually it's going to be 2 new players. I think if they wanted to, they could send me back in, because technically I only won 1 game. So they could joker me back in. But regardless, I think the pick, like the map veto, is going to be for binary. So we'll get to pick the guy and the map, or at least take out one of the maps. LagTT will pick the map, and I guess I don't actually know who we're going to pick quite yet, but overall, like, those 3 players are pretty good. Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to root for some Terran play, so...
Yeah, we've only seen Protoss and Zerg so far.
That's what I'm rooting for.
Maybe like a TVT or something, because we only saw ZVP, or PvP, or yeah, 2 ZVPs, 1 PvP, and another ZVP. So not a whole lot of Terrans in, like you said.
ZVP is getting a small bit boring. We did see you actually win your first round against Protoss, though second round they did overrun, and now we saw another Protoss overrun Zerg. So Protoss are 2-1 versus Zerg tonight.
Yeah, man, they gotta do something about that balance. Wink, wink, not done.
It's hard to say, I don't know. Gotta counteract those force fields somehow.
Yeah, actually, that's kind of funny you say that, because a lot of the mid-game strategies for Zerg right now tend to revolve around either, fighting through that or just avoiding it altogether. Like a Roachling, Muta kind of thing, where you go for counterattacks and stuff.
Well, we saw you in Game 1. You saved up a ton of gas, and you knew exactly what you were going to use it for. You brought in 13 mutas instantly and went right for his main and took away his third expansion.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong style, especially if they're not prepared for it. I don't think he quite had Blink research ready, and if you're not about stalkers, like the Mutalisks can actually just straight up kill the stalkers. So that's not a position you want to be in as Protoss.
Well, we thought in Game 2 there, when you went for 3 expand, we thought you were gonna wait and get all the gas at once. I believe Candide mentioned that's a strategy that I can't remember who it was been doing for a while, but
I tend to watch a lot of Nesty games, so he tends to take it like in steps, and he's actually one of those Zergs that take layer very, very late. But overall, like at the very least, if you want to be safe, you want to take the first 1 or 2 gases so that you get your Ling speed and Roaches out in time for a warp kit attack. Otherwise, like you're just gonna die. So Lings don't really